let the same power that created the worlds run through you and take direction of your life.
Wow.
And it's like that vision of just surrender, but stop fucking fighting the very power which created everything run through you. I was like, fuck.
Boy, yes.
How you been?
You got
What's
that
happening,
Miami look, but like flipping long white shirt, long hair.
The long sleeve, the long hair. Fuck, it's all happening this morning, bro. I just had the fucking worst thing happen to me, but
no ways, China. What happened?
After having this phone for 2.5 years, my fucking phone, that this cover has protected this thing through, but this thing has fallen so many times, but it's been perfect. No. Today, true as God, it falls just off my desk here and the fucking thing is cracked.
Oh no.
And probably at the fucking busiest time of my life, I desperately need a phone.
Oh, fuck. That's the worst thing ever, but yes.
So frustrating, bro. But like, fuck, this is like a whole bunch of shit has come up and life just like sort of likes to just put you into these situations to test you.
Yeah, tell me about it, bud. But I don't know if you've got a light there because you're in a bit of a shadow, like your face a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm in the corner here, so how does that work?
So that's much better, bud. But talking about phones, bud. Well, I've had the iPhone 6S, but I bought it in 2016, so it's fucking gone a long time now. You know?
Wow.
But over the last few months, I've noticed that it's like you have to really get the charging thing at the right point for it to charge. It's like, and then the other day it was like, nah, it wouldn't fucking charge. And I was like, it's fucked. Now it's like finally the cable, whatever inside is done, you know? And then I was looking at videos on YouTube, like how to flip and if there's ways around it. And you can actually get Oaks to change the whole inside, but it's not like I could do that. But then also you can get like a toothbrush, and there's sometimes like lint like in your in the thing, and you just brush that out, and that's actually a lot. That's like 90% of the time what it is. So I did that, and then I could charge it again, but just like ever so, like there was only like one little point. It must be like a millimeter where where it sort of touches properly. So I actually haven't turned my phone on like properly at all. I haven't really used my phone for like two days now, only just to put it on once or twice just to just get a WhatsApp message. And then I've just turned the Wi-Fi off completely. So it's actually been pretty good. I can do almost everything I need now on my computer, you know.
Dude, it's amazing. I'm sure that feels better for like your mental space also.
Yeah. Because you're not being lazy, you know. You're not like, oh, I'm just gonna sit down here and like at the fire or something and flick on my phone, you know, because I'm like, oh well, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to charge it again, so I don't do that, you know. So it's been really good. Like if I'm coming to my office, I'm like, cool, I can work and I can do whatever else I want to, like online, and then other than that, I'm not going to be online. So it's been pretty good, like from that perspective, you know. But I do need to get a new phone, so fuck.
You downloaded and do you use WhatsApp on your computer?
I did, but I haven't now this time, like since I've fixed my computer, but because I don't know, I'm just quite wary of privacy and stuff like that, you know. But I have Telegram, so I mean, who knows if Telegram's really even better or not? But you know what I mean. But
the FBI probably developed Telegram, right?
Yeah, but like, I mean, who flipping knows? Like, you don't know what to trust these days. That's for sure.
Classic.
Yeah. So
what else has happened over the last week for you, bro?
Yeah, bud. We're actually having our first lightning storm since we moved into the house. And literally 10 minutes before we started, the lightning went and all the electricity in the house went. And I was like, oh, fuck. I don't have Wi-Fi. Like the Wi-Fi went off. And then and I was like, where's the electricity box? You know, sort of thing. And also it's Bella's first one. So I'm like, hopefully she's okay, you know, because dogs get a little bit skittish sometimes in it, but she's cool. She's just sitting there on the stoop, like, just like, oh, what's this? Like barking at the thunder. And And but yeah, it's been a cool week. Yeah, just been working on some really interesting things actually. I've mentioned Jason before and his foundation and stuff, and we've been chatting a lot, him and I, this week about certain things. And yeah, we're going to be setting up our own. Well, he's already set up so many different things, but one of the things I'm going to take control of is setting up like a education platform, and effectively like educating people on what they, so many things, right? But one of the things we want to empower people with is actually what their rights are, and to actually understand law, because almost everything that is in our legal system is not necessarily correct. We just live by those laws. There's other laws that like natural law and common law and all these sort of things that you are actually more powerful than the ones that we live by, and people have no clue about any of this stuff, and the more you go into it, the more crazy it is, just kind of trying to understand it. But yeah, so we're setting up a whole education channel on that to start with, and then it's going to be around like financial stuff, and then we're going to have all these other sort of things that sort of bolt onto it, and ultimately get into like home education for kids and all these sort of things. So, but we're going to start somewhere. But yeah, so many cool things, but like that people have no clue about, that would be really empowering if you knew, like as a person, so like when, say, the tax man sends you a letter, you actually know your rights. You're like, oh, actually, I know I don't need to pay this, even though you guys are threatening me, like I don't have to. I've never entered into a contract with you that we've both agreed to. So, show me where the proof of this is, and then we'll follow up. And like same as like when a police officer accuses you of something, you ask him a question. You don't actually go, yes, 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 because as soon as you're saying yes, you're agreeing to a verbal contract. But if you then ask them a question, they then have to respond. And if you know your rights, they almost have no rights over you in many situations, almost all situations, like it's just, we've just been born into this kind of this world without challenging the existing structures, because we don't know them well enough. You're born into a world where you go, yeah, you have to pay tax, and you have to abide by these laws, and you have to blah blah blah. And that's actually not necessarily true. That's not the real truth that governs us. So there's like, we've been doing a lot of stuff on that, and it's just so interesting once you dive into this stuff. But so there's a guy in particular that he's been speaking a lot with, that has intentionally tried to get himself arrested. He's intentionally gone to court. This bloke has got obviously balls of steel, right? He flipping has 5 times, so on 5 different occasions, he has seen policemen in their cars that are going faster than the speed limit. He has basically turned around his car, chased them, like, so they're both speeding, stopped them, and he's like given them an arrest, like as a citizen, saying you are speeding and this is unlawful, and every time he's been successful in it. But so and that's the rights that people have that they don't even flip and know. But it's crazy, China. I promise you, it's so crazy.
Where does this guy live?
This guy lives in the UK. But most of this law is like universal, like, it's not just.
That's a question I was going to ask. Is there often a common thread between all the countries and the laws involved?
Yeah,
I'm sure there probably is.
Totally, bud. Totally. Like, it's all, at the end of the day, all the stuff is made up. And that's the baseline. Like when you understand that everything in the world is made up, then you can challenge everything.
It's funny, it's all a mental agreement. And like you say, but you're born into this world and someone says you can't do that, and then you agree. So any limitation we have, any place we believe we can't go, we can't do things, is just because somewhere along the line you have mentally agreed that you won't. We had this experience last year. I remember we had an awesome evening. We spent 2 nights at a place called the Standard Hotel. my friend Ryan. So we had a bunch of friends. It was like a 2-day sort of staycation, and we just really enjoyed the facility. They got these beautiful gardens, like pool next to the water, great restaurants, etc. Anyway, they've got this one dock, and at nighttime they put a rope across it and it says "Do not enter." But of course, at nighttime, like you want to go sit at the edge of the dock and enjoy the view, right, of this beautiful bay. And so we're sitting. Some of us are already sitting on the dock, and then Rhino comes walking to like, step over the rope to get onto the dock. And some guy comes along and goes, no, you can't go on there. And Ryan looks at him and he goes, actually, I can. And he steps over the rope and he says, you see, I'm over it, and ignored him and walked off. And the whole point of that was, he was like, that is like life, right? So there's this mental construct. It's just a rope. It doesn't mean that you can't get onto the dock. But because someone has made a note, then do not step over this rope. Like, okay, so that's how you've measured a level of control over somebody else. And it's just because that person has agreed that that is the control that they will live by.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, you can apply that to almost everything in life, but it's quite fascinating once you delve into it, So yeah, man, how about you? What about your week, bud? Sounds like you've got a bit going on.
Yeah, lots going on. It's been great, man. We had an awesome weekend, did some really cool stuff on Saturday. Actually, I went with Ali to 2 amazing classes. One was a creative movement class with our friend Ashley. It was interesting to see Ali participate in something like that, because it's a little bit out there, man. They've got this amazing music. They do a lot of like breath work and connecting with your body. A lot of it is like, out of the realm of what most people are used to or comfortable doing with their body, and it's moving with the music, and it's letting yourself go, right? And talking about, letting shit go and really giving yourself to the moment. And you're in a class with another 25 individuals. And so it was interesting watching Addie. You could see like her mind was fighting between, oh, this is different and uncomfortable and a little bit self-conscious. And then also, but I really feel like I want to let go, and then getting into it. And by the end of it, she absolutely loved it, which was amazing to see. And then we went for a little breakfast afterwards. But we spent the whole day together pretty much, but had some wonderful conversations. And then went off to this space yoga class that I like to go to on Saturdays, which is another incredible experience with the music. And it was actually upstairs in Space nightclub, so that sound system, bro, with the music they were playing, and everybody smokes a bit of chufta and just gets into their body, and it's just this beautiful class. So it was a really awesome Saturday. Bud, and just spoke to my old man now. Luckily, it looks like there's a little bit of tourism starting to happen again in the country, so he's got some work this weekend, which is good. Bud, and then I'm in this dance with this girl from Missouri, bud, and fuck, dude, why is relating with another person so fucking challenging, bro?
Yeah, well, maybe, I mean, I guess the answer to that is maybe simple. Like maybe it's just not the right person, sort of thing, in many ways.
Because it shouldn't feel. This is what I'm starting to realize, like everything that is for you, right? And we keep talking about this, the stuff that really is for us, the stuff that we've always been like, wow, has come easy. And so I'm really learning a lot about relating. And you're right, but it's giving up this mindset of, no, it's a challenge and you can make it happen. And, to be like, no, but when there's a vibrational match with another person, it's simple, it's easy. Both of you are excited, both of you contribute. There's no guessing or gaming or lack of connection, right? And so I'm recognizing patterns in myself, bro, where I almost thrive on the difficulty, but it's not right, bro. I know it, and I fucking know it. I know that it's just that resistance is always speaking to you, and to just let it fucking go, bud.
Yeah.
Why? Like, yeah.
It's interesting that you notice that though, like within yourself, like it's almost like you thrive on that challenge, like that's what, or not even thrive, you seek that challenge.
Somehow I've attracted it, bro. Part of me has attracted exactly that. And it's like showing me, it's like, here you go, but you need to learn the lesson. And here's another lesson for you. So now what are you going to do with this one?
Yeah, exactly. So what is your lesson like right now? Are you learning from it, or are you just trying to sort of figure it out?
No, I'm learning as I go, but I'm definitely learning. Like, but it's like I'm in, like I know the lesson. I know the lesson, but I somehow still want to fucking torture myself in the classroom. You know?
Can I ask you, is it because you feel like you need to win?
Yes. There's a part of me that will be like, I can put myself in the position instead of feeling like I'm vulnerable. I can flip that switch now to a point where I'm in control of my emotions, and now you're not. Fuck, it's such a bizarre pattern, and I'm trying to understand where it comes from. Like, where in my life have I had this experience that this has become my story and the thing that I attract?
You said once before it was from like that girl Shannon, wasn't it, that you dated like in high school when she dumped you? And you think like that's where like a lot of this originated from. Do you still feel that that's the case?
I wonder if that story specifically was the whole jealousy story, right? The creating a story around that when you have feelings for somebody, that they will end up hurting you by cheating on you. So that was the Shannon story. But yes, maybe there's still a second story to that too. Hey, there's hurt and difficulty, and somehow you can force the situation to be on top almost, where you flip the uncertainty in yourself to the other person.
Mm-hmm. So why don't you use this challenge to just surrender but like not even surrender, to just give in, like in a way, so that you don't feed this ego part of you that wants to be in control? Why don't you use it as a challenge to go, actually, you know what, I noticed this pattern. I need to do something to break it down, but I'm not going to achieve that if I carry on with the same way that I've done it my whole life. Why don't I just go, cool, listen, I don't think it's actually working, and that's it, and then just go, and then it's just like, you know what I mean? Like you have to kind of like just give in a little bit in a way
by actually disengaging. You're right. That's exactly what it is. It's surrendering now, instead of trying to force the outcome that my mind wants, to just be like, it's okay not to play that game anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but it is difficult, like, but I think you have to do it, like, what is the quote that Einstein says? He says something about stupidity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And that's true, and that's exactly what this is. And when you're not aware of these things and you're not really observing your behaviors, you keep repeating things, right? But now there's no excuse. Like, now I know better, I must do better. And I think this is the whole lesson of surrender and accept, and just allow and trust the universe that, hey, maybe if this is not the person for me because it doesn't feel right, or I don't feel like there's an even balance of energy in the play, to let that go. And that's hard for the ego, bro. And you're right when you said, like, that's the ego part of me that is trying to win.
Yeah, it's I think it certainly is, but yeah, it's just interesting still, even like, like listening to you speak, and you're so in tune with things that are going on with you, with your relationships and how you're reacting, but you still have that kind of like thing in you to not do what you probably know is right. You know what I mean? It's the humans are so interesting when it comes to these things.
So interesting, but yeah, we are. I mean, this is it. This is like, this is the beautiful thing about living, right? You get to observe and experience all of this, and even when and as you're learning and as you're growing, you're like, yes. You still have that tension, and every person has it. This is why we have to have compassion for each other, because people are easy to write each other off and be like, oh, well, you're a fucking idiot that you went and did that again. But fuck, yes, like we all do it. We all do it. Let me ask you a question, Gareth. With you and Marissa, you guys have been together for how long now?
7 years.
So 7 years. Tell me something. This is the way I see a relationship. I feel like it's like trying to get a space rocket off into orbit, right? Where it needs a lot of fuel and energy and attention in the beginning for both of you to sort of feed this thing until eventually it rises to a level where it starts to become, it becomes easier and sort of, that's like the space rocket getting into space, and now suddenly it doesn't need like all that fire and that fuel to try and lift it off to get to a common place. Did you find that in your relationship, and did it take like a few years of like real intention and focus? I know good relationships require constant work and attention, but did you notice that there was a lot needed in the beginning for you both to get to a place where you felt comfortable and trust each other?
No, I don't think so. Hey, if I'm truly honest, like, I don't know, like I just felt like that, there was that trust there from early on in the day. And like we just really, I don't know, maybe it was just, we've been through enough ourselves to kind of, other partners and these sort of things to know, if it's right or wrong sort of thing, and it just it's always felt easy. Like our relationship has never felt like an effort, to get things going, or to build up trust, or it never really has been a massive effort.
So in the beginning, there was always an enthusiasm from both sides.
Yeah, totally.
To bring to the space.
Yeah, totally. Like, and we did lots of things, like cool things in London, like just, like going to outings and shows, and like, riding bicycles and going for breakfasts, and then, that morphs into like, say, trips away and these sort of things. And yeah, it was always like, there was always that keenness from both sides, I think, to not to impress, but just to be curious about each other, and to just keep having fun, and showing each other new things. We both had very different experiences of our times in London and where we'd come from and stuff. And like, I'd actually never really ridden bicycles a hell of a lot, and then Marissa was like, yo, no, what do you mean? She's like, I cycle everywhere. And she just like introduced me to this whole new world in London, like these awesome ways of like exploring it and stuff, and then I would take her to lots of different shows and stuff and music events. And it was like just this, it was just sort of harmony, really, in many ways. It wasn't, but that was, this was like one of many relationships that I've had that ended up like that. And I think when you find that person, it is a lot easier than all the other ones are, because a lot of the time, I think in relationships, there's a power struggle,
Yes.
And that's maybe like what you're feeling now as well. But like, once you maybe know that the person is right, you almost give up that power struggle. Like, you're like, okay, cool. We're more powerful together. So let's work together and not sort of, have this battle. But, and then it like, it still feels like we just have fun and we do things and stuff. And it's just not a challenge, really, our relationship. And it's not like, it's always perfect sort of thing. You're just human. If you're not having a fight and butting heads every now and then, like, you're just not human, I think, and that happens, and you need that, but most of the time we're pretty sweet with our relationship, which is really, it's great. It's like, it's just not difficult, and it's fun, which is cool.
But yeah, and what you're saying now reaffirms that the real relationships should feel easy, and there should be flow, and some kind of congruency with the direction that both of you are going in. And what I'm realizing is that maybe somewhere deep down inside there is a an old story of unworthiness, like somehow I'm not worthy of a person really wanting to treat me the way that I want to treat them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an imbalance in that. And yeah, fuck. And it's about being patient and waiting for that person to come along, to be like, no, these are the things that I desire in a relationship, and I want to be made to feel that way, and I want reciprocation when it comes to, you know, showing each other new things and, you know, contributing to the experience of your relationship together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love doing that for, you know, for the other person, bro. Like, fuck, we've gone on some amazing like little dates and experiences and adventures, and yeah, fuck, man. And I deserve to have a person that wants to do that for me too.
100%, bud. And you will, bud. You will. Like, you know, like, I mean, that person will be attracted to you and your energy and what you want to give them, and they'll want to do the same, you know. And but sometimes it just takes a bit of time to get there, you know. And I don't know, like, you know, maybe it's like Americans do things differently, you know. Like sometimes you have to find that person whose culture is also a bit similar to yours, you know. So I mean, I know that you know, you've dated all girls from different places and stuff, but sometimes the culture as well doesn't necessarily match with yours, you know, to make it work. So yeah, but ultimately it'll happen, but like it'll definitely happen, you know. You'll find that match, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. What you say about the culture thing, that definitely plays ball. It's amazing. You know, we all grow up in these different cultures, different ways of doing things and expectations. For sure, I found that, you know, I feel like commonality, like South Africans and Europeans seem to see the world in very similar ways. Have you noticed South Americans or Brazilians see it? Brazilians specifically see it in a similar way to what you do, or was it both of you living in England that sort of helped you guys to see things in a similar way?
I find quite a lot of similarities with South Africans and South Americans in general, actually. And I think it's a lot to do with our the struggles that we've all had in our countries, you know. Like we have had struggles, you know, like with how we've with our governments and different things, you know. Like, you know, you compare like Brazil and Colombia and stuff, you know, they've had like, you know, drug issues and like Colombia more like civil wars and these sort of things. And then South Africa, you've had apartheid. They've always had like, they've had like these divisions which have been more obvious, you know, like in society. But and that sort of struggle, I think, makes you see the world the same, and sort of like connects you with those people. And I also find like even Eastern Europeans as well, like, you know, even like not necessarily their culture is quite different to ours, but like they've also been through that struggle. So you can actually connect with them because they've been through that struggle, like, you know, and maybe guys from like America haven't really, you know, like they haven't really had much of a struggle in however many years, you know. And so there's, I don't know, it's just, this is just my perception of things, like why I've sort of gravitated towards these sort of people, and it might have something to do with that. It could just be total rubbish, you know what I mean?
No, I think you're right. As you say that, I recognize that too.
Yeah,
There's definitely that.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's interesting, bud. Just going back to what you were saying about the dancing and stuff that you took Ali to, like that awkwardness, it reminded me of when I was in India, like learning meditation, to be like a meditation teacher. And you know, we did these different types of meditation. It was called like active, passive, sort of, where you do like an activity first, and then you do like meditation afterwards. And the activity is almost like to almost distract your mind a little bit, you know, to get that first bit of the kind of like monkey mind out of, you know, like what's the right word? Maybe like exhausted, you know, so that when you do meditate, you're like, cool, okay, I'm ready. So one of the things was like, you do like dancing, and you notice it as well, but like like even within yourself, you like that, because the guy goes, cool, okay, look, we're all just going to dance, and you dance, and it's just like, like you said, that kind of like free, whatever, move whatever you want, however you want. And then the guy goes, okay, cool, now everyone follow this person. And then you're like, oh fuck, and you're in a group, and now you've got to like think of like ways to dance. And it's kind of embarrassing, or I don't know what the thing is, like you're like, now you're the center of attention, and you don't necessarily like that, because it's also weird, you're not like, it's not like you're giving a talk or something. You've got Oaks following you dancing, and you might be like an awkward dancer. So you know what I mean? Like it's really interesting how you react to these things. But then it's also really interesting when you go, okay, cool. Now everyone close your eyes and just dance however you want. And like, when there's nobody looking, you're like, oh, cool, I'm just going to go for it, But then at the same time, you also like every now and then you open your eyes just to check, okay, cool, okay, everyone still dance like a dick like me, cool. But it really is interesting, but like that whole concept of almost feeling shy about what you're doing, and I don't know why it is, but it's just interesting how we all react to that.
And dancing is such a natural thing for humans to do. But in a Western civilization, we've moved very far away from dancing, telling stories in groups, sitting around the fire at nighttime, celebrating your meals together. All of that has been stripped away from what for millions of years. And in Eastern medicine, like if you go there to a doctor and you're like, oh, I'm depressed, like one of the first questions they ask you is like, when was the last time you danced? When was the last time you cried? And when was the last, like something like that? It was like, there were three things that were very interesting. It's like, dance, tell stories, and laugh. I think those are the three. But yeah, it just shows your disconnection with yourself and with the people around you. Have you ever done a proper ecstatic dance?
This was like one of those things was, like the ecstatic dance. Yeah, which is also.
It's amazing, bro. It's
it
really
is
fun.
amazing, eh? Yeah, like
when
you
you get into it. Once you
yeah.
break past that ego going, oh, look how funny you look. And you're like, yes, man, this feels really good.
No, totally. Yeah. And even like, you know what, it's even interesting, like when you watch people do that, because you start judging them in a way. You go, oh, these fucking people are so crazy. Look at them, and that's also just part of your own ego, like talking. And you have to break these things down. Like, you have to get over that shit in yourself, to, I guess just be free, more free. You have to get over your own shit, I guess, at the end of the day, don't you? That's what that is.
But it's great. This is all the fun of stuff, and going and doing these different experiences, I think, is so healthy and important, because it breaks routine. It gets you out of your own comfort zone. It gets you reconnected with yourself, and then to do it in groups, but like, it's just, it reminds you that there's a community of people that are all thinking and feeling and growing in the same kind of sort of direction.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most important lessons, I think, in everything that's going on, like right now, is like how important community is, and that we have to go and search for our communities, and we have to keep that up too, especially in person. It's really good for the soul and good for the heart and the mind, and you have to make an effort to do that,
Yeah. Big time.
Cool, brother. That's probably a decent way to end, isn't it?
Thanks, my boy.
Yeah.
Like a Wednesday chat.
Yeah, love it, bud. Awesome.
Have yourself a beautiful day, my brother, and we'll catch up with you before the weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah, sounds awesome, my boy. Sounds awesome.
Thanks, bro.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother.
So how's